this thing. This is what was in the shoebox. Is this part of the diving gear, maybe? Thomas's diving gear? Interesting. Okay. Can't explain where this new stuff... Wait, hold on. When you flick it, there's a solid, satisfying... Oh, well, hold on. It's an old light switch, it tells us, if I just kept reading. When you flick it, there's a solid, satisfying click. When I flicked it the first time ever finding, all the lights in the house went out. I swear I'm not making this up. It turned out to be the whole neighborhood, actually. The real reason for the power out turned out to be a thunderstorm rumbling above. But talk about coincidence of a lifetime. Flick the switch many times after that, nothing strange happened. Can't explain where this new stuff came from. Someone broke into my house and put it in here? Doesn't matter. House guests. Soon after my last update, someone contacted me. They said they know a lot about what's been going on, the origin of the shoebox content, and that this kind of thing had happened before elsewhere. They promised to tell me more on condition I'd stop. Where's that? Hey, Brian. On the condition I stop updating the blog. They said this whole thing should be kept secret and hinted that it could be dangerous. There are people out there who think the contents of the shoebox are very valuable and would be willing to commit crimes to get a hold of them. In a way, it felt like a lot like a nightmare about an agent who came asking about the shoebox. Of course, it was totally different in many ways, but still, it reminded me of that. The lake, like a dream that came true somehow. I promised to think about what they told me, and I have. That's the reason why there have been no updates for a while. They were friendly enough, and the more I thought about it, the more the whole thing felt like a threat. That really pisses me off. It's a free country. I can write anything I want in my own blog. Technically, you can't. The shoebox and everything in it came with the house, thus it's mine. I've decided to keep updating the blog. Don't want spoilers. I completely understand, Brian. We're actually reading. They gave us some websites off the. You can see this paper behind me. I'm reading off one of the websites. Apparently, the websites on this piece of paper are real, and they're connecting to stuff that we don't even know about. So there's some stuff going on here. Okay, I'm back and I'm okay. Well, not okay, but alive. They kept me in the hospital overnight for observation and spent a couple days at my parents' house. On the night of my previous post, sorry if I frightened anyone, I had trouble going to bed. I was on my laptop listening to music. The TV was on in the living room, and I wasn't really watching, but I was mildly amused by the fact that the episode in the crappy horror show, which is probably Night Springs, was on about a girl who buys a haunted house and gets into trouble. The rerun of Twilight Zone or something. Of course, Night Springs. It got ridiculous when the corny narrator said things like, she thought she had bought an ordinary house in an ordinary town, but nothing could be more out of the ordinary than this home. I actually laughed aloud and walked to the living room to see. It was like someone was playing a practical joke on me, but then I immediately saw the men outside my window, dark, shadowy silhouettes, and the power went out, and it was dark, and I could hear a window breaking in another room. I ran back to the kitchen where my laptop was. I grabbed it, rushed into the closet, shutting the door behind me. I sat on the floor and dialed 911. I could hear sounds of them breaking in, the insane shouts and laughter. I've never been so scared in my life. I could hear them getting closer. I stopped talking to the phone so they wouldn't hear me. I wrote the blog post. I don't know what I was thinking. And then they were behind the door, and I got up, tried to keep it closed. It flew open violently and fell and hit my head. Last thing I saw in the glow of the laptop was the shoebox. It was sitting on the shelf. There was no way I could have not seen it before if it had been there since it went missing. All went black. I woke up in the hospital with a mild concussion. Police said there were no signs of disturbance or break-in other than what they themselves caused when they came in to check and found me. I don't know what to think. I've been very stressed at work. I'm not going crazy. I didn't imagine it all. It's probably the FPC doing a cover-up, honestly. The only thing is certain, this is my house, and I won't be frightened away by ghosts or shadows. This is my house, so I'll fight for it if that's what it takes. So there. I just checked. The shoebox is on the shelf in the closet. There's stuff inside that wasn't there before. Okay, and then the next thing says, call 911, men outside, shadows, dark, coming, help, more light. No light is the next blog post. How long is this? Okay, We're probably not going to read all of this, actually. There's a lot of stuff here. There's more poems. There's Under the House. There's drawings. So anyways, that's the first website. So let's see what the second website is. Sirensociety.io. So let's check that site out. Sirensociety.io. Okay, it's just a wobbly screen that says sirens, and you can join the wait list. Interesting. Huh. 2024 Siren Society, all right reserved. Is this a hint at something new? Siren Society. Interesting. Okay, and any other ones that we can read? Blessed, etc. For the update, full list, refer to redacted. Okay, so that's all the sites, but there is a lot of stuff on that House of Dreams blog spot, and people are gonna have to deep dive into that, dude. What a cool way to introduce a whole bunch of new stuff into the world. I mean, I guess we can go through this. Why not? Why not? People will be interested, I think. And we want to give them the full experience, so let's see. No light, no light. It's been very busy at work and too exhausted to post here for a while. Apart for the nightmare the other night, which I had to get off my chest immediately, it still gives me the creeps. On a more positive note, the house is slowly starting to look really good. I've been living here for a while. Here's a photo of my fireplace. There's some antlers on the wall. It's kind of okay. I got the yard lights. Now I only need to get them installed. To be honest, I'm playing for time here, writing this, not looking forward to going to bed. Still listening to the beautiful and brilliant Florence and the Machine, or Florence plus the Machine earlier song, No Light, No Light, made me think about the nightmare again. Shoebox Dream 2. I had another dream last night. When I woke up, a real scare. In the dream, I was visiting the previous owner of the house at the nursing home. Only in the dream, the owner wasn't a sweet old lady. He was a man. And he wasn't old. He was a young man with dark hair, very good looking, in fact. I remember that he was wearing a funny jacket with old-fashioned elbow. Okay, so she meant Wake. I was there to find out about the shoebox. He was very agitated and didn't listen to me. The place was brightly lit. It was sunny outside, but he was still very anxious and wanted me to turn all the lights on. He kept going on about a place being too dark. I remember being certain that all the lights were already on, but that didn't calm him down. In the end, he was screaming for me to turn the lights on. I was also starting to freak out, starting to think that something horrible was coming to take us, and that's when I woke up. I was really thirsty. I got up from the bed and went to get a glass of water. In the hallway coming back, I suddenly saw a dark silhouette of a man outside the window. I must have screamed aloud. My heart stopped for a moment. I dropped the glass. Luckily, it didn't break. It's one of my favorites. I was really frightened. I rushed to the house, turning on all my lights. My first impulse was to dial 911, but after the moment, felt silly. I told myself that I must have imagined the whole thing, seen my own reflection in the window. Of course, with all the lights on inside, I couldn't see anything outside anymore. I ended up calling a friend of mine, Joss, who lives nearby, waking him up. He was kind enough to come over and check the place. Bless him. Joss is a real angel. There's no sign of anyone outside. I'm definitely going to buy some yard lights. I thought you said you already bought them. I've been meaning to do that for some time already. Oh, we're reading this backwards. Okay, that's probably what it is. As the photos are a bit blurry, I'll transcribe the poem. Kept from sleep again last night, by the sound of chimes. I sway so far below heaven, so high above hell. Frost creeps up the trunk of my spine. All is blackness through these holes of my eyes. Just the wind in my skull and the wings of her crown. Her is underlined. Interesting. They perched on the gallows, they pecked me clean and made a chime from my bones. Also written on the page, B's comment, a diver, not a hanged man. Think about it. Okay, that's probably a reference to Thomas. As the photos are a bit blurry, I'll transcribe the... Okay, that's just the same thing again. In this temple of shadow and mist, there is a window in the floor and a door in the ceiling. There is no knowing, am I standing still or running or kneeling? Last two lines have been scratched out. Can't make out what it originally said. The lines of the poem have been written next to them. From bloom to gloom, our love like fire consumed. We burned our bridges, furniture, clothes, hair, flesh, and bones all too soon. We ran out of things to burn. While it blossomed, our love was like a flower. That sound like familiar song lyrics? Yeah. Also written B. This is us. T. The name Barbara, I'm guessing, can't... Okay, so that's Barbara from Thomas. Okay. Can't quite make it out. Different handwriting next to a heart. Okay, so that's B and T, but we don't know who E is. Until the time comes around again, the shadows fall on this town again. It's barely evening, but the shadow falls on me again. No one will miss us, our faces inked black. They'll sell our things at the flea market. They'll never call us back. So she left with them. They'll wine her and dine her. We huddle naked in this alley. Nothing's for sure. Fir needles tickle, and we bathe in rainwater. All the way to the ocean. Hold on. The memory of the slaughter. Until the time comes around again, the shadows fall on this town again. It's barely evening. The shadows fall on me again. I'm awake. I'm barely alive. When I sleep, I have two hearts. Your heart and mine. Your two hearts and mine. I wish it would shatter like glass under my heels, just like a sheet of ice. When I close my eyes, that's how the mirror feels. Oh mercy, thousands have gone missing beyond the labyrinth of me. When you're lost in your own company. Interesting. There's another poem in the page as well. In this hall of mirrors built by liars, I'm a pale reflection of myself. Pool. There's also a couple drawings, a face of a man, some fir trees by the water, and a strange face with a long nose and round black eyes. As the photo, okay. And the mist like death, mist like lover's breath, rolls so soft and cold and wet. Memories met for the first time, secrets whispered, to find a long-lost doorway home or to be led to parts unknown, and forever disappear beyond this veil, in her dreams to prevail. Your eyes were so cold when you watched me go under. You were sitting in the boat. I floated down to darkness like a cloud from a shark bite. I breathe out my life with you. The currents wash me away. I let my currents wash me away. My mother told me to no avail. If you played with shadows, you grow sickly and pale, and forget all the wonders the sun can unveil. Beyond the shadow you settle for, there's a miracle illuminated. The three last lines have been underlined in the note saying E's favorite line. A long talk with him about the meaning, no changes, but keep in mind for another time. Frightened of the shadows of the deep, he challenged me. To a duel I indulged him, for he did not know that beyond the lake he called home lies a deeper, darker ocean, green, where waves are both wilder and more serene. To its ports I have been, to its ports I have been. Note, rewrite has been written next to the first stanza. Okay, so we're on poem 3, so we've got like 3 more poems, and then probably like one last little bit. I go underground to follow me underground. Everyone else has gone there. Down to the ground, I'll take you underground. They chased a mystery, and they are a mystery to me. And you'll think that of me when I tell you my tale. What we bring with us, sorry secrets and awkward lies, wet matches, a yarn for overcast skies. Everything else down here has been stolen so many times. Everyone who walks down these steps dies. I go underground, follow me underground. Everyone else has gone there. Down to the ground, I'll take you underground. Okay, so we're at poem 2 now. Divorce me from all that's sane, screaming mute darkness. Descend on this frail frame. I drown in fathomless black space. Light never scratched the depths of this domain. I see not, yet nothing could be worse than the shades my mind calls herein, alone at my own wake. The unveiling of the reason's skein. It says the dark place below the poem, and there's a line from William Blake's Auguries of Innocence. Some are born to endless night. All right, poem 1. We pillage and whore, hauling our loot. We swagger down alleys. We don't say please. The town is burning. We set it in flame. We are the fire that's gone out in your eyes. We are the maggots gnawing at your heels. We are the rain trickling down from the hole in your ceiling. We are the ants inside your walls. We are under the boards of your floor. We are eating your house. We are the sharp rocks under your knees in front of the altar where you are kneeling. We have no morals, no guilt, no qualms. We don't give a damn. The sewers are clogged. Filled with waste, the water is rising. We'll make a ship out of your naive, broken dreams and lay siege to your sanctuaries. We are a ravenous horde of rats. We are fangs and we are the beast. There will be no more admiring gazes, no more courtesies, no more gardens in spring. We are the rising waste, and you will be the drowned king. First stanza has been crossed out. The sheet has been torn up. Okay. So this is the thing. This has the picture of all the poems. So all the poems that that we're reading on that website, which I linked in chat, comes with images of all of these poems and as well as their transcription. So been really busy and stressed at work lately, but in spite the shoebox and its contents never far from my thoughts. You might say I'm getting a bit obsessed about them. I've been trying to find out who the poet is or the couple in the photos, but no luck. I asked the daughter of the previous owner about it. Her mother is in a nursing home and suffers from advanced Alzheimer's disease, so she wouldn't be able to help me. Okay, so that is probably a reference to Barbara. She was certain that no one in her family was a poet. She doubted that people in the photos were anyone from her family. She told me that her mom liked to buy stuff from yard sales. Her guess was that the shoebox was something her mom picked up from one of those. Tried to find a shoebox after it went missing, but I can't find it. I'm so glad I took photos of the poems before I lost. And that's pictures of the poems. Okay. The dark place. Yeah, okay. All right, so we're at the last. This is the last post on this site. Under the house. A couple of guys came to do plumbing work on Friday. They had gone on their house to do that and discovered that there was a trapdoor that led to a crawl space underneath. It had been screwed shut and had to be opened. After they were done, they decided to go down there to explore. Armed with a flashlight and my iPhone for shots, I squeezed myself through the trapdoor. I was cramped and claustrophobic. I'm amazed that the workmen were able to do any work there. I'm tiny compared to them. I was mentally prepared for rats and dead cats or even something worse, but there was nothing out of the ordinary down there. Nothing out of the ordinary in the town of Ordinary. Pun intended. Okay. So they took pictures of underneath their house. There's some boards. I'm not seeing anything in these pictures that... Wait. It looks like the lamp might be down there. The lamp that he does the thing with. There's like an orb in one of the pictures that seems to be under some dirt. Okay, so that's it. That is that website. Okay. Well, we just established a whole lot of stuff, and I cannot wait for the lore videos on that. So, and now we have an ad, which is a good time for me to go refill my drink. So I will be right back. Okay, man. That's good. This DLC just, I'm very curious. So there's a different light switch because it wasn't the clicker, right? It was a like a turn, which is interesting because we know based on the story of the first game that the clicker was given to Wake by his mom, but it was connected to Thomas giving her the clicker or whatever. But there's a whole new clicker, right? Like that's a whole new object. So I'm very curious what that's going to establish. We got 30 more seconds of ads and then we'll get back into it. Interesting. Also, we have a new person that's apparently a musician. And their name is Samantha. I'm trying to remember if we've met a Samantha. I don't think so. So maybe that's hints for the next Alan Wake game, or maybe it's hints for the next Control game, because they did disappear, right? So, and if they're at a Control facility, there could be a connection that they go to a different Control facility, maybe the oldest house.
The lake house was underwater. The Marmont's ambitions had finally been realized. Jules had dangled the painting like a lure and hooked an ocean. Their machines couldn't hold it. A fault in the system. The water rushed in, filled it until it was ready to burst. All their successes and failures had led them here.
Okay, wait, we thought we already listened to that. Yeah, we already listened to that. Okay. So what are we supposed to find here? Oh, I guess we just need to go back that way. Yeah, 6. Again, that's literally what Estefes did when she came down the elevator. She was talking about you learn ways to cope, and she did 6 deep breaths. But assuming she's never heard that song before, how is that connected, you know? Okay, did I go the wrong way? Or are we supposed to get something from here? Because there's this door, but that just seems to lead out into the darkness, right? So that doesn't seem to be anything here. Okay, I guess we were just supposed to figure that stuff out. Get those manuscript pages and learn about Samantha. Truly comprehend the threshold, must understand direction of art. Even the definition of art is varied range of crafts fall under the name. To that end, we must track the research dedicated to defining and quantifying art. Good luck. Ultimately, rendering concept into a unit of measurement. To begin, let's not understand humanity's definition of art, but rather Cauldron Lake's preferences. The case is Cauldron Lake threshold. Effective reality is centered on writing, Wake, cinematography that's also suspected, though not directly confirmed, Zane. What about other mediums? We will need to test the viability of painting, poetry, music, photography, sculpting, dance, and so on. So we know music works, and now we've learned that painting can work. Not to mention myriad of genres and methods each medium. What about crafts outside the most common artistic expression? Does any act of creation on a high level of expertise merit the title of art? Oh, we're getting into the concept of how do you label something art. Interesting. Baking, woodworking, yeah, exactly. What about non-physical mediums? Why is music and art and philosophy is not? Does something become art due to its medium, its quality, or perhaps simply through the intent of expression, or an equation made up of all three? What would be the order of importance? What threshold must each factor reach in an equation to succeed? Clear the years much to determine. We begin with developing a methodology using the vast range of arts and general creative endeavors, both physical and mental, and then find a way to test their potential connection to Cauldron Lake's threshold. The Cauldron Lake is an enigma with many layers to pull away if we are to understand it and ultimately bring it under control. The work will take years. Okay, so yeah, I'm guessing our big reveal here in this room. Oh, nope, never mind. We got some stuff here.
September 13th, 2023. Notes regarding the concept of the tortured artist. A romanticized image of the sensitive artistic temperament, yes. But there may be truth in the cliche. It's no secret Rudolph Lane has been unhappy here for years. But,
years.
The aggregate data shows his art's viability score trending upward over time. If Jules hadn't neglected to hold regular psychological exams, then we could have quantified the subject's emotional state, creating a sort of distress rating to compare against the art's score. I'll make this a sub-goal of my study of Edward Booker. Once we set the variables and establish a control reading of his art and mental state, then we can begin inducing negative emotion.
Oof.
Limited food and water, perhaps.
Yikes.
An increasingly tight living space. This is how Jules lost his subject, though. Need to be careful not to leave any sharp objects in Booker's cell.
Okay. So she was condemning Jules for basically torturing his artist. This is an interesting arrangement of things. And then she's contemplating just doing it herself. Very interesting. But now we have a new name for the universe. We have this Samantha, which apparently is this disappearing musician. So again, I don't know if that's already connected to someone in the universe. I have not played Quantum Break, and it's been a very long time since I've played Max Payne 1. I have not played Max Payne 2, and Control I played probably a few years ago, but I don't remember a whole lot of it in universe sense.
Gotta find that elevator.
Yeah, but say the elevator's gone. So where did the elevator go? Where could it go? There's not really anywhere else for us to go. So I wonder if we go up different stairs if we get different results, or if it's just the same. Nope.
More shifting geometry. Yeah, great.
Okay, so now we've got to find the elevator. So I wonder if this was specifically a floor about lore. Because they told us just to go to the 5th floor, but... The only thing I can think of, you can go to the darkness. Right, it's to go this way. Okay, can't go any further that way.